In 2013, Microsoft was considered a dying company, not struggling, not stagnant, dying. Tech journalists were writing articles about whether Microsoft was the next Kodak, a once dominant company that had missed every major technology shift and was slowly becoming irrelevant. The stock had gone essentially nowhere for 13 years. From 2000 to 2013, while Apple grew by thousands of percent, while Google went public and became a global giant, Microsoft's stock barely moved. A lost decade, then a lost decade and a half. Today, Microsoft is one of the 2 or 3 most valuable companies in the world. Its market cap regularly exceeds $3 trillion. It owns a significant stake in OpenAI. It's the leader in enterprise cloud computing. Its stock has increased by more than 10 times since 2013. What happened? How does a company go from almost irrelevant to dominant again? That's what I'm going to show you today. And the lessons apply far beyond Microsoft. Let's start with why Microsoft was struggling. Microsoft's business was built on 2 products, Windows and Office, the operating system that ran on personal computers and the productivity software that ran on top of it. For 20 years, this was an extraordinary business. Every PC that shipped needed Windows. Every business that used PCs needed Office. The revenue was massive, recurring, and predictable. The problem was what happened next, the smartphone. When Apple launched the iPhone in 2007 and Google launched Android shortly after, computing began shifting away from the desktop. People spent more time on mobile devices. Developers built applications for iOS and Android, not for Windows. The most important new platforms were ones Microsoft didn't control. Microsoft's response under CEO Steve Ballmer was late, confused, and ultimately unsuccessful. Windows Phone launched years behind iPhone and Android and never gained meaningful market share. The Surface tablet arrived late. The company kept trying to protect Windows and Office rather than building for the world that was emerging. By 2013, Microsoft had missed mobile almost entirely. It was profitable, but profitable in a shrinking world. Its core business was attached to the PC market, which was declining as smartphones took over. Then, in 2014, Microsoft made a decision that changed everything. They hired a new CEO, Satya Nadella. Nadella came from inside Microsoft. He had run the company's cloud computing division, which at the time was a relatively small part of the business. He understood something that Ballmer had not fully grasped. The future of computing was not about which device people used. It was about where data and software lived. And increasingly, that place was the cloud. The cloud, in simple terms, means running software and storing data on remote servers accessed over the internet rather than on local machines. Instead of installing Office on your computer, you access it through a browser. Instead of running your company's software on servers in your building, you run it on servers rented from a cloud provider. This shift was already happening when Nadella took over. Amazon Web Services had been building cloud infrastructure since 2006. Google had cloud offerings. Microsoft had Azure, but it was behind and underinvested. Nadella made a series of decisions that seem obvious in hindsight, but required real conviction at the time. First, he declared that Microsoft would become cloud first and mobile first, not Windows first, not Office first. The company's identity would shift from being a software company that sold products you installed to being a services company that sold subscriptions you accessed from anywhere. Second, he moved Office to a subscription model. Instead of paying $200 or $300 once for a copy of Office, users would pay a monthly or annual fee for Microsoft 365. This was initially unpopular with customers who didn't want recurring fees. But for Microsoft, it transformed lumpy one-time revenue into predictable recurring revenue, and recurring revenue is worth far more to investors than one-time revenue. Third, and most strikingly, he embraced openness. The old Microsoft under Ballmer was famous for being hostile to competitors and to open-source software. Nadella reversed this. Microsoft began contributing to open-source projects. It brought Office to iOS and Android, putting Microsoft's core products on Apple and Google's platforms rather than trying to fight those platforms. It acquired GitHub, the most important platform for software developers, and kept it independent rather than folding it into Microsoft products. The message was clear. We're not trying to control everything anymore. We're trying to be useful everywhere. Now let's talk about where Microsoft actually makes its money today. Because the business has transformed dramatically. Microsoft organizes its business into three segments. The first segment is productivity and business processes. This includes Microsoft 365, which is the subscription version of Office, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, Teams. It also includes LinkedIn, which Microsoft acquired in 2016 for $26 billion, and Dynamics, which is Microsoft's business application software. In fiscal year 2024, this segment generated about $77 billion in revenue with very strong margins. Microsoft 365 alone has hundreds of millions of subscribers paying monthly or annual fees. This is the reliable, recurring foundation of the business. The second segment is Intelligent Cloud. This is Azure, Microsoft's cloud computing platform, along with server products and enterprise services. Azure is the #2 cloud provider in the world behind Amazon Web Services, and in recent years it has been growing faster than AWS. In fiscal year 2024, the Intelligent Cloud segment generated about $87 billion in revenue, making it the largest segment. Operating margins in this segment are excellent and improving. This is the engine of Microsoft's growth and the primary reason the stock has performed so well. Cloud computing is a massive, growing market, and Microsoft is one of the 2 or 3 dominant players. The third segment is more personal computing. This includes Windows, Xbox, Surface devices, and the Bing search engine. Windows still generates significant revenue through licensing to PC manufacturers. Xbox has grown substantially, particularly after Microsoft acquired Activision Blizzard for $69 billion in 2023, making it one of the largest gaming companies in the world. This segment generated about $62 billion in revenue in fiscal year 2024. Now let's talk about the OpenAI relationship, because it's central to Microsoft's current story. In 2019, Microsoft made a $1 billion investment in OpenAI, the artificial intelligence research company. In 2023, as OpenAI's ChatGPT became a global phenomenon, Microsoft invested an additional $10 billion. Microsoft now holds approximately 49% of OpenAI's commercial operations. This investment has given Microsoft exclusive access to integrate OpenAI's technology across its product line. Copilot is the name Microsoft uses for its AI assistant integrated across Microsoft 365, Windows, Azure, and GitHub. You can use Copilot in Word to draft documents, in Excel to analyze data, in Teams to summarize meetings, in GitHub to write code. Microsoft is betting that AI assistants embedded throughout its existing products will make those products significantly more valuable, justify higher subscription prices, and attract new customers. Early data suggests this is working. Copilot features have been driving upgrades to higher-tier Microsoft 365 subscriptions. Azure is also a primary beneficiary of the AI boom. Companies building AI applications need massive computing infrastructure to train models and run them at scale. Azure competes with AWS and Google Cloud for this workload, and Microsoft's OpenAI relationship gives it a specific advantage in attracting customers who want to build on top of OpenAI's models. Now the financial picture. Microsoft's total revenue in fiscal year 2024 was approximately $245 billion. Operating income was approximately $109 billion. That's an operating margin of around 45%. 45% operating margin on a $245 billion business is exceptional by any standard. It reflects the mix of high-margin software and cloud services that dominate Microsoft's revenue. The company generates enormous free cash flow, which it uses for dividends, share buybacks, and acquisitions. Microsoft has paid a dividend every year since 2003 and raises it regularly. Share buybacks have reduced the share count over time, benefiting long-term shareholders. Now let's talk about the risks. The first risk is competition in cloud computing. Amazon Web Services is still the market leader in cloud and has an enormous installed base of customers and a wider range of services. Google Cloud is investing aggressively and has specific strengths in AI and data analytics. The cloud market is large enough for multiple winners, but competition keeps pressure on pricing and requires continuous investment. The second risk is the Activision integration. The $69 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard was the largest in Microsoft's history and one of the largest in the history of the technology industry. integrating a major gaming company with major intellectual property, including Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, and Candy Crush, while maintaining creative culture and execution, is a complex challenge. Large acquisitions frequently destroy value. Whether this one succeeds is not yet clear. The third risk is AI investment versus return. Microsoft is spending tens of billions of dollars on AI infrastructure and development. The returns from this investment are real, but still early. Copilot pricing, Azure AI growth, and OpenAI's commercial performance need to justify these costs over time. If AI adoption in enterprise software moves more slowly than expected, or if competitors close the gap, these investments may not generate the returns the market currently expects. The fourth risk is regulatory scrutiny. Microsoft is under scrutiny in both the United States and Europe for its market position in enterprise software and cloud computing and for its relationship with OpenAI. Regulators are increasingly focused on whether large technology companies are using dominant positions in one market to foreclose competition in adjacent markets. The outcome of these investigations is uncertain, but could constrain Microsoft's business practices. Now, what does this mean for investors? Microsoft is often described as one of the highest quality businesses in the world. Recurring subscription revenue, high margins, multiple large markets, strong competitive positions in cloud, productivity software, and gaming, significant AI exposure through OpenAI. For investors seeking a large-cap technology holding with less volatility than pure AI plays like NVIDIA and more growth than traditional value stocks, Microsoft fits that profile. The valuation is not cheap. Microsoft trades at a premium to the broader market, reflecting the quality of the business and growth expectations. For the valuation to be justified, Azure needs to continue gaining cloud market share, Copilot needs to drive meaningful revenue and margin expansion, and the broader AI investments need to translate into durable competitive advantages. For long-term investors, Microsoft is a bet on three things continuing: enterprise cloud adoption accelerating, AI becoming deeply embedded in business software, and Microsoft maintaining its position as one of the 2 or 3 dominant platforms in both of those trends. Here's the core insight about Microsoft that explains its comeback. Under Ballmer, Microsoft tried to win by controlling platforms. You need Windows to use a PC. You need Office to work. Every product was designed to lock you into Microsoft's ecosystem and exclude competitors. Under Nadella, Microsoft decided to win by being indispensable everywhere. Put Office on iPhone, contribute to open source, let developers use Azure to build on any technology stack, acquire GitHub and keep it independent. The goal wasn't control, it was ubiquity. And it worked. Because when you stop trying to force customers to use your platform and start trying to be genuinely useful on whatever platform they're already using, you reach far more people. And when you reach more people, you have more opportunities to sell them your services. That strategic pivot from control to ubiquity, from products to services, from one-time sales to recurring subscriptions, is one of the most successful corporate transformations in the history of the technology industry. A company that was written off in 2013 is now one of the 2 or 3 most valuable in the world. Understand the business, understand the transformation, understand where the value comes from. Thanks for watching.